seen them call about properties they want to buy, foreclosures and things like that. It may not be practical if Carlos is out of the area, and they want the let's buy a bank property. And here's the reality of Austin: there's not as many bank properties on average foreclosed or short sales in the market in Austin. The second thing you have, if you're looking at short sales, is the lenders are not unrealistic in what they want to sell them for. They know the discount should be smaller in Austin than it would be in, say, for example, Florida, because the market's relatively hotter. So they know that if they do end up with a property back, their discount on the foreclosure is going to be less. So my advice, and this is going to get into the next question from Susan S., that you need to be working with a good agent. Find somebody that works that investment property area in the area that you're looking for, because they can help you out. So let me get into the next question from Susan, and this is a huge issue in Austin. And we've missed out on 3 homes so far. We touched on market conditions. Things are going with multiple offers. The agents, notice I'm saying agents, plural, we are working with don't seem quick enough to get us homes before they sell. Suggestions? Well, Susan's not going to like my answer necessarily, because Susan, like some of these other sophisticated buyers, and I know, Perry, you talked about Apple bringing engineers and other professional execs and things like that. The penalty that you're assessed by market for not being loyal to a buyer agent, meaning signing a buyer listing agreement, is you're going to probably not get to buy your first choice property. And I'll explain. I'll let you guys chime in. If a buyer is not loyal to me, I'm not going to be out there trying to get them into a property because they're getting multiple offers, because there's potentially 3 people that they're working with, and I'm not going to be previewing, I'm not going to be doing the other work. It's just not practical. I mean, it's hard enough to sell somebody property because of the multiple offers. So if she's missing out, just like an investor would potentially be missing out on the best deals, it's more than likely because they haven't signed a buyer listing agreement. You know, in Circle C, I can tell you, if a property comes on the market, you as an agent, if you're a buyer agent representing a buyer, are probably going to have to go grab your video camera, get in the car, figure out if it's a fit, get that buyer, pull them out of work, or if they're a relocation buyer, use electronic signatures and get that house for them so the offer's in, like Mark said, within hours, not by the end of the day, and we'll think about seeing it tonight. It's a huge issue, and what Susan's seeing is typical for buyers that are running around looking at properties or working with multiple agents. Don't you guys think?
Yeah, I
Absolutely, do. Kevin. And you know what's a good buyer's agent? A is going to demand that you have a buyer's representation agreement, because again, you know, if you're not loyal to us, there's definitely no reason for us to be loyal to you. And secondly, if we do a good job, if your buyer's agent does an excellent job of listening to exactly what you want, and you give them the leeway when they find it, you know, we know the second things come on the market. If we put in the right criteria and you've told us exactly what you want, we get pinged the second it comes on the market. If it looks like it's a good property, we can put an offer in on it sight unseen, and the only thing you have at risk is $100 in your option money. We can go look at the property, and after we've got the offer in, and you know, if it's the one, we're already a step ahead of the game. If it's not the one, you know, we can back out, and there's no risk. But the timing, you know, for $100 potential $100 investment in the option fee versus getting the property that you want is critical, and that's up to the agent to make sure that they know exactly what you want.
Yeah, that's really good points there, Mark. I would like to add on to yours by saying that sometimes agents specialize in certain neighborhoods, and those are the agents you want to work with on a regular basis. Kevin, you're over at Circle C, Mark at River Place. You know, when you specialize in a neighborhood, you know a little bit more about it than the average agent. You just have to, because you're constantly running reports, and you're talking to people on a regular basis. You're showing people the stuff that's already out there. If you work with a skill set expert, expect to have expert results.
Absolutely. I mean, you take you know, Kevin knows this about Circle C. I do about Lake Point and other neighborhoods. I know every street. I know when the houses were built. I know the floor plans. I know. So when a house comes on the market, you know, in Lake Point, for example, if you're looking for a 4-bedroom and a property comes on the market that I know that floor plan is a 3-bedroom plus an office that doesn't have a closet, that's not going to be a consideration. But but some agents will list it as a 4-bedroom. So you've really got to talk to a market expert and work with somebody that knows what you're looking for specifically. It's a good point, Barry.
Well, and absolutely, and just kind of to tie this down, the real question I always ask buyers is, especially if they go down the path of, well, we're not ready to sign this thing yet, is explaining them in the dialogue that we've just had about, are you comfortable that a house may come on the market, and even though there's 3 of us that you're potentially working with getting listings sent to you, that you and your wife may find the perfect house and you lose it. So is it more important to leave your options open, or do you really want to buy the most optimal house in terms of your fit? In other words, is it going to be 3 or 4 houses you lose first before you decide that it's important enough to do it, or should we take care of that today? And I find that people, when they have it explained to them, it actually closes. In other words, they get the feeling of, well, you know what, it makes sense. It's like going to an attorney and asking them to represent you in court and file a brief, or having a surgeon want to do a procedure for you and saying, no, I'm not willing to sign an engagement letter, or I won't sign any releases. You're going to be shown the door. Now, the funny thing about the real estate business is we don't explain that the only benefit for the buyer that they probably even care about is you're going to potentially lose your ideal house. It's not about, I want to definitely get paid a fee. It's I'd like to earn a fee in return for making sure that you got the highest odds of getting the optimal house. And they're going to live in it for a long time. It's a huge deal. I mean, if you see the disappointment, I'm sure you guys have seen it when somebody loses something they fell in love with because they're not working with the right agent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One last thing, Kevin, and the absolute minimum that folks don't understand about the buyer's representation agreement is if we don't have that, if we're not working for you as a client, you're simply a customer, and we're actually working for the seller. I can't, if you tell me something confidentially or, whatever, it's until we have a buyer's representation agreement, full fiduciary and confidentiality doesn't come into play. So I can't properly represent you.
Excellent point.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely, we could actually probably do a whole short podcast just on buying property in a hot market and why you are going to be disappointed if you don't sign a buyer agent. Maybe what we'll do is we'll do a special call with the 3 of us or something like that about how to pick the right agent to work with in a hot buyer's market, because that's the other problem they run into is they'll pick an agent, and I'll kind of close with this, they'll pick an agent that is not experienced enough that now all of a sudden it's multiple offers. The listing agent gets the sense that their agent is not going to be able to take things through, or they're at a disadvantage because they don't have the negotiating experience, and they lose it that way. So there are definitely some considerations. Mark, I want to thank you for coming on Austin Real Estate today. Perry, as always.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. This will be up not only on the YouTube channel for it, but also on audio on iTunes. Mark, I'll get it out there on your social media on Facebook so you can share it with folks as well. And then for our 3 listeners, maybe we'll go to 5 this week. We'll see.
Yeah.
If you have questions for us, you can send it to info@austintexasrealestatetoday.com. That's info@austintexasrealestatetoday.com, and we will cover them in the next upcoming episode. Thank you.